and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Libby and I love reading books. If you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back. I feel like January just went on forever, and I know everybody says that, but it really does, doesn't it? It just feels never ending. It's finally February, which means we can pick our February TBR. I am currently reading 10 books at the moment, and so I'm not picking too many books from my TBR. I'm going to pick 5, and those are the books that I want to read in February. I am also hoping to finish the ones that I'm bringing over into February with me. I have my little TBR cards, so I'm just going to kind of get straight into it because I don't want this to be a super long video. I'm really excited for the month of February. I think it's going to be a really good month, and I think that I'm really gonna enjoy the books that I read this month, and I'm just really excited to delve into more stories and like discover new worlds, and I'm hoping to read some more fantasy this month. I'm currently reading Onyx Storm and I'm currently reading Quicksilver. So I'm reading 2 fantasy books at the moment, but I'm really excited to read some more as well. Yes, I'm hoping that I might pick out some fantasy books with these TBR cards. My TBR cart is quite full. There are about 50 to 100 books on it. I don't know the exact number. I forgot to insert a clip last time. I'm going to insert a clip this time so you can see what my TBR cart looks like. This is my TBR cart. It has 2 rows of books on each level, and there are 3 levels. It's not completely full at the moment because I've just picked out my February books and my January books are no longer in it, except for this one last night at the Telegraph Club because I didn't manage to read that one in January. So this is my TBR cart and I love it. It's just by the side of my bed, and it just means that I always have books at the ready. And this is where I try and pick my current reads from, and like when I read books from it, I tend to then bring books from my bookcase onto the TBR cart. That's kind of the system that I have for it. I'm trying to shuffle them. So the first TBR card we have is choose a book which has a picture on the spine. Ooh. I think I'm going to go for the Mars Room. This has a swallow on the spine, so I think that counts as having a picture on the spine. My wife read half of this and she said that it's quite a heavy book. She said that it was quite triggering for her, so she only read half of it and didn't finish it. But I really want to read this because it sounds so good. It's been on my TBR for about 3 years now. One that I feel like I need to read soon, or I just need to give it away, because it's just been on my TBR for so long. I'm going to read the synopsis for you. Romy Hall is starting 2 consecutive life sentences at Stanville Women's Correctional Facility. Her crime, the killing of her stalker. Inside awaits a world where women must hustle and fight for the bare essentials. Outside, the San Francisco of her youth. Mars Room strip club where she was once a dancer. Her 7-year-old son Jackson. As Romy forms friendships over liqueur brewed in socks and stories shared through sewage pipes, her future seems to unfurl in one long, unwavering line, until news from beyond the prison forces Romy to try and outrun her destiny. I just think this will make for a really good read. A lot of the topics discussed in this book are really hard and really sensitive, but I also think that it's going to be a really good book. Let's pick our next card. Choose a book which begins with a prologue. Ooh. I don't know if I obviously do have books that begin with a prologue, but I'm gonna have to look through them because I don't know which ones do and which ones don't. No. 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 I don't actually know if I have a book like to hand on my TBR cart that begins with a prologue. Nope. Nope. I can't seem to find a book on my TBR cart that starts with a prologue, so I'm going to pick another one. Let's go for this one. Choose a book that has a 1-word title. I had this one last month as well. I am going to go with Birthday by Meredith Russo. It has really cute sprayed edges and I love a sprayed edge. And this has also been on my TBR for 3-4 years. I've got a lot of books that have been on my TBR for a long time. But I've been really excited to read this book. I will read the synopsis for you. Meet Eric and Morgan, born on the same day at the same time in the same place. Always shared this one day together, but as they grow up, they begin to grow apart. Everyone expects Eric to get a football scholarship, but no one knows he's having second thoughts. Former quarterback Morgan feels utterly alone as she wrestles with the difficult choice to live as her true self. Both of them are struggling to be the person they know they are. Who better to help than your best friend? Told on one day every year over 6 years, this is a story of how change pulls people apart and how love brings them back together. That just sounds so adorable. Sounds like such a cutesy read. It sounds like the kind of read that I need in February. Just like a really sweet, heartwarming book. So the next card is choose a book whose author's surname begins with an L. Ooh, interesting. Okay. This is so hard. I don't actually have any books on my TBR cart where their surname begins with an L. So I'm gonna go with their first name begins with an L, which is Chains by Laurie Hales Anderson. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not entirely sure. I really suck with pronunciation of words and names. That is the dyslexia. I apologise for that. I've just butchered the name. This has been on my TBR for so long. I have read 2 other books by Laurie and I've really enjoyed them. I read Winter Girls and I read Speak and I really enjoyed them. They were both brilliant books, so I'm really excited to read this one. I will read the synopsis for you. New York, 1776. The American Revolutionary War rages. A 13-year-old girl pursues her own fight for freedom. Isabel and her sister Ruth are slaves who are sold to a malicious New York City couple, the Locktons. Having lost their mother, Isabel vows to protect her younger sister and keep hold of the one important thing in their lives, hope. Determined to break Isabel's spirit, Mrs. Lockton commits an unthinkable act of cruelty, one that will ensure Isabel embarks on the biggest and most perilous adventure of her life. Isabel will need all her strength to survive. Can she break the chains that are holding her and find a better life? That sounds so good. It sounds like it's really going to pull at my heart. Okay, I've got 2 more to pick. Oh, I had this one last month as well. Choose a book that still has the shop sticker on the front. So for that one, I've gone with Honey and Spice. It still has the Works 3 for £6 mix and match deal sticker on the front. Okay, the synopsis is, host of radio show Brown Sugar, Kiki Banjo's mission is to protect her listeners from heartbreak, which puts Whitewell College's newest student, handsome player Malachi Cordy, at the top of her hit list. And Kiki's dream summer internship in New York depends on finding a fresh angle for her radio show. She must make an unlikely bargain with Malachi himself to put their simmering clashes aside to form a fake relationship, something sweet and spicy enough to win over the whole campus. However, close proximity to the notorious heartbreaker brings everything Kiki thought she knew about her own heart into question. Why is throwing out her stringent romantic rulebook suddenly so tempting? Will she find it in her to resist? That sounds really good. I'm not actually usually a fan of fake romance and fake dating. I just find it a little bit boring. However, this does sound really good. I think because it's also got like, it's not fake dating to appease a family member or friends, which I find is what happens a lot with that trope, as this is more like for a radio show, and I feel like it just sounds a bit more interesting than the usual fake dating that we get. So I'm really excited to read this one. Now we get to choose our final one. Choose a book which has a person on the cover. Okay. I've actually got quite a lot of books in my TBR cart with people on the cover. That's just about choosing which one I want. I'm gonna go with Cinderella is Dead. This book has been on my TBR for so long. I can't even begin to describe how long it's been on my TBR, but it's one that I've been wanting to read for even longer than it's been on my TBR. Like, this was such an anticipated read for me, and then I just never got around to reading it. So I'm gonna read this one. It's 200 years since Cinderella found her prince, but the fairy tale is over. Sophia knows the story though, off by heart, because every girl has to recite it daily, from when she's tiny until the night she's sent to the royal ball for choosing. And every girl knows that she has only one chance, for the lives of those not chosen by a man at the ball are forfeit. Sophia doesn't want to be chosen. She doesn't want to go to the ball at all, not when she's afraid the girl she loves might be chosen too. Pushed beyond breaking by a society that denies everything she is, Sophia sets out on a journey that she will remake her world into the one where she gets to choose. That just sounds so good. Cover is absolutely stunning. That artwork, chef's kiss, absolutely stunning, gorgeous. You love a fairy tale retelling as well, or like, not so much a retelling, but I love when when people take fairy tales and like put their own spin on it. So I'm really excited to read this one. So these are the 5 books that I will be reading in February. I'm also going to be carrying over the current reads I've got into February, but these are the ones that I want to try and prioritize to get read. Based on these 5 books, it's going to be a really good reading month. I'm really excited to start February's reading and dip my toes into these stories, and I can't wait. It's going to be one really good reading month. I'm manifesting it. Like, I don't need to manifest it because these are incredible sounding books, but I'm manifesting that this is going to be a really good reading month. I'm going to film my January reading wrap up. I have decided I'm just not going to do my December reading wrap up. It's February now. The time has come and gone. I didn't really read anything in December that was that exciting, I don't think. So I'm just not going to post that. I'm going to film my January reading wrap up today or tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave comments about the books you'll be reading in February. If you have read any of these books, I'd love to know your opinions if you've read any of these. Please don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. It means a lot to me and I would really appreciate it. And I hope that you all have a really lovely February, and I will see you soon. Bye.